Okay, how you guys doing? Hope this video finds you well. It's Sunday. I just want to get on here and make a quick video to you guys and just really, kind of explain a few things to you about who I am so you understand me a little bit more as a person and understand why I do what I do and why you see what you see out of me. Why my methodology is what it is and why my philosophy is the way it is and why I conduct myself the way that I do and why I talk the way I do and act the way I do. Because I think it needs to be explained. And once you understand who I am better, you'll understand my mission and what I'm doing, okay? I want to start this video off with saying very clearly that, unlike a lot of other guys on the internet and coaches or whatever, I'm not whoring my time for money. I had a first act in life. I don't need to work anymore. Like, I'm not a person who's like, hey, let me just be a coach so I can make some money and maybe have a laptop lifestyle. We're here in the Dominican Republic. We're looking at some real estate here, and we're very fortunate in doing so. They're out, we have a villa here, and my girl's from the DR, and her family's here, and they're out looking at property right now. I'm here working, okay? I don't take time off. I've been in the DR for a week. All I've done is work here. Still do my 6 or 7 fucking one-on-ones back-to-back. Still deliver the greatest call on earth called the Power Hour. Still do the greatest negotiation masterclass the face of the earth has ever seen. I don't take time off. I'm committed. Understanding my history is going to help you understand why I'm so intense. You have to understand that I am a second-generation contractor. My dad is a construction professional. My dad comes from the World War II mentality. Remember this: the construction business is one of the least forward-moving businesses on earth. There is no cutting-edge new technology and ways of doing things. That only exists in the engineering aspect of it. Anywhere that exists in the labor portion of it has never been fully adopted. So construction today is the same as it was 200 years ago. Okay, and it's male-dominated. I am very peculiar and have a unique experience that my experience in business and construction has been at the highest level in the hardest market in the world. And I grew up into that. So, by 10 years old, through osmosis, I knew how to run a $100 million water treatment plant job. Just because I come from the 80s. We ate dinner every day at the table. Okay, and in the 80s, my dad is a guy who might as well have been from the 40s. And he sat at one end of the table, and my mother sat at the other end of the table, and I sat at the right hand of my dad because I was the prince. I was his right-hand man. And he used to tell me that as a kid and cultivated me as his right-hand man as a kid. My dad built me up as a strong warrior type. And I just coincidentally had the proclivity of being a daddy's boy. I bit on to that culture and that esprit de corps that was created. That thing resonated with me. I wasn't a mild and shy type that I'd just rather read the book and I was afraid. I was more of a He-Man. And that is how I grew up, by the way. He-Man and, Voltron and G.I. Joe, and I grew up in a neighborhood where we had like 20 or 30 kids all our age, and all we did was play manhunt, and we played tackle football on the street, we played baseball, we had boxing, we did WWF wrestling, we were constantly beating the shit out of each other. I grew up in a very alpha environment. And then when it came to business, it was not just an alpha environment, but it was being around men who, like I said, are World War II guys, or really hardcore Vietnam guys, and in an industry that did not move forward with the world. These are very tough male figures. And I'm 20 years old going up against guys 50. And there was no way you come home to my environment, our culture of warriors that was created and led by my dad and his contemporaries and his peers, without victories. You cannot come home without a complete victory. So the amount of pressure that was on me at a young age was tremendous. Not only that, I pressured myself because I wanted to be great. And so I forced myself into figuring out how to make things work and how to win at a big level, man. And I followed and modeled the guys who were there before me. And those guys the world has passed by. You know, I'm only 40, but I had the very unique and peculiar upbringing of being around those guys and then playing ball at a high level and at a very different level where contractors, you know, 0.0001% of contractors ever even get to sniff the farts from that table. So, you know, I'm a unique guy, okay? That being said, reason why I'm always hollering and screaming and going after, wagging my finger at people who say that they can teach contractors how to be millionaire contractors who aren't contractors themselves drives me crazy. As a person who has done nothing but eat, sleep, and breathe contracting at the highest level. It drives me crazy. And then to have contractors I talk to not listen to what I tell them. It's nuts. It drives me nuts. That's for a different conversation. I'm not a coach where I'm looking for something to do and I'm whoring my time around for dollars. I've created an organization, ALP. And that organization I'm fully committed to. Because ALP and Marshall Wilkinson is me. And I am that brand. And I control the message. Like Jay-Z says, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. And I am a business because I got people relying on me every single day. And my promise that I make to them is when you strap up every day and go to battle, you're not alone. That if you look to the right of you, that's where I am. In fact, I'll be leading from the front. Follow my lead. It's not because that is a sexy thing. It's because that is how I have been brought up and how I've been cultivated as a person. So most people have not had the privilege of having an upbringing that way. Having a massively dominant male figure in their life like I did, my dad. I'm the first guy to say it. The love of my life is my dad. My best friend is my dad. I never met a person who would never let you down. 40 years of life and operating, I never met a person that would never break their word, that their word is their bond. It's uncanny. He's like a mythical figure. And I lived with him and watched him. I get emotional thinking about it because in my hierarchy of things in life, that is the biggest thing. Competency, the ability to deliver, and loyalty. Okay, and that's what my dad rewarded, loyalty. And I say this to say the reason why I commit so much to ALP and I push, and believe me, this is just the beginning of a war plan, and I am leading the charge on the Western Front, and I'm going to kill everything that comes in our way. And I'm going to lead. I have an organization that's big enough now that I need to show those men and lead by example, those men and women. Part of the reason why this has reinvigorated me and has kind of given me, like I said, a second act in life is that I have never been truly a good friend to people because I have been so focused and brainwashed to deliver on what I had to deliver on and to be a champion. And that required everything that I had. And I didn't have anything in me to give to anybody else. That's why I had no girlfriends. You guys have followed me for years. No girls around. Nothing like that. Women weak in legs in my world. And so what we were doing and what I was focused on was complete domination and getting there as quick as I could at the youngest age as I could because I wanted it now, not later. And because of that, I was not a good friend to people. And I still am not. Okay, but ALP has given me an opportunity to be a leader of people and has created a ranking of loyalty in my life because I teach people how to make money and how to put money in their pocket and control every encounter that they're in. Take care of their family and their obligations like they never thought was possible. And they do it over and over and over and over again. And I changed their life in days, in a matter of days. Ask anybody who's ever come into my radius because there's something fresh here because what I offer to the world is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. I'm so fortunate to be a Frankenstein of all the men who came before us whose old wisdom and abilities are now gone on Earth. They're not here anymore. And I happen to have the fortitude and the balls to bring it back and to kick ass and to show people how it's done, and that pressure ain't a bad thing, and to keep altitude and to use logic and to push for a complete dominant victory on your end. And when I teach people that and I show them every day that I'm with them and I lead from example, they buy into that philosophy and they immediately start dominating in their environment. And because of that, I have an army of people that'll take a bat to somebody's head if I ask them to. That when I die, I will have people there to show their respect for me because I changed their life. And that to me is the second act. That's what I really care about in ALP, because I'm making up for lost time that I had. You know, understanding being a very unique person with a unique background made friendships for me extremely difficult, because I wasn't a modern type guy and I was very intense. And like in this day and age, that don't exist. This day and age is about fucking partying, weakness, watching football, and jerking around. And I'm not that guy. I'm just not. I'm very pugilistic and I want to win and dominate, and I have a very I'm set in my way. I have a way that I know works, and I ain't pushing it, and I ain't going on a back foot for nobody. And so that's very tough coming up. Very tough coming up, especially people in their 20s and 30s still trying to find out who they are. And I'm coming through like a marauder. Like, you know, screw this guy, Wilkinson. Who the hell? This is nuts. This guy's nuts. So that's who I am, okay? $2.5 billion on the board in the hardest construction market in the face of the earth. I ain't some coach and some person on Etsy that's selling their time here for money. Made a couple bucks in the stock market or something else teaching you how to be a man. That ain't me. I come from a line of extremely strong and successful men that the world has forgotten, and they are now, if they're even still walking the earth anymore, they're old and they've been cast aside. But I have had the privilege of watching those men dominate, and I have soaked and absorbed everything from them, and I've created my methodology that helps save people's lives. And so that's why I'm so committed to what I'm doing and why I push the way I push. And hopefully now you understand a little bit more about me and things make a little bit more sense to you. I'm coming after it for a complete and total victory and domination, and people are trying to suppress me right now. And my word to those people who are trying to suppress me is bring it on. Tomorrow we get back after it. Hope you find who you are, find your guts, and get back in the game. Now you know a little bit more about me. Have a great day.